Hey guys, today I'm going to do a little update on the Super Flower. We haven't done anything with this one in a while. If you recall, we just did all that work onto the Antec 900, gave it all the lights and bling to it, and I noticed that the Super Flower is looking kind of plain compared to it. So what I decided to do is take some of the parts that we had left over from the original Antec build. We had some cathodes and some red lighted case feet and stuff for that case when we originally did it a couple years ago. So I'm just going to take this stuff and put it onto the Super Flower and see if we can make it look a little bit more attractive. Okay, we have it all unhooked. First thing we got to do is start taking the covers off, get that motherboard tray and stuff out of there so we can start pulling the wire. This is one thing I love about removable motherboard trays. It makes it so much easier when you do a project like this. You only have to disconnect a couple of wires. You can slide the motherboard, video card, CPU cooler, everything out in one chunk and be ready to work on the case. So it makes it a lot simpler than having to dismantle everything and pull the board out to do something. Okay, the first obstacle we have to overcome on this project is the case feet itself. These were the add-on ones that I had put on. The reason they were so big was because of the fans mounted underneath to give it clearance to pull air in. These are about 1.75 inches thick. The problem is that these acrylic ones are only 3/4 inch thick. So you can see they're quite a bit shorter, and they're not going to give us enough clearance to give room for our fans to breathe there. So what I did is I took my hole saw and I just cut a couple of pieces out of pine, just some 1-inch slugs here. And what we're going to do is we're going to mount these on top of the feet themselves, and that's going to give us that extra inch of clearance we need. Once we get these all painted up and mounted on there, you won't be able to tell that they're even wooden. I think that's going to be a cheap way to be able to use these without doing too much fabrication. So I'm going to get these painted up and we'll get ready to mount. Okay, while we're waiting for the paint to dry on the spacers, I thought it might be a good idea to plug in all the LEDs, make sure everything is working, bench test them here before we mount everything up. These have been bounced around in a box for a while, so I was afraid maybe some of them might have gotten broken, but they seem to be in good shape. So we're going to go ahead and start mounting some of this stuff in. Okay, moving right along, we have our two 12-inch cathodes installed. I put one up along the top rail here, and there's going to be another one right underneath this bottom rail. That should light up the motherboard and the components. I've been working on the case feet. We have the spacers painted, and I've just hot glued the acrylic feet to the spacers. Now we're ready to glue these to the case itself. Okay, this is what they look like all glued to the case. This is going to give us our 1.75 inches basically, about the same we had with the other feet. That's going to give us about 3/4 inch for these fans to pull air in, so we should be in good shape. Okay, we have everything wired in now, so we can get the motherboard tray in. I had to make sure I put everything behind where this motherboard tray slide is, so that won't get in the way of anything, but we're ready to start assembling this and see what it looks like. Okay, we have it all put back together. As you can see, the lighted feet are shining off the bottoms with them blue fans. Also the two cold cathodes, I got one just above this top rail and then one right under the bottom rail to illuminate the board and all the components inside the case. So I think it looks quite a bit better. It's going to be a little bit nicer to look at night, give a little more ambient light to the room, and it doesn't have to be intimidated by the Antec anymore. So one thing I did forget to mention, in case anybody was wondering how I mounted the cathodes in there, I used the 3M double-sided 4010 tape and just put a tab on each end of the cathode and then stuck them into place. This is really good tape for modding just about anything you need to attach inside your case. People use it a lot for side windows, but Anyway, that's going to do it for this mod. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.